Hi guys, and welcome to a very cold London. I think it's about 6 or 7 degrees centigrade. I'm freezing. Why am I here? Well, actually I'm here for other reasons, but whilst I was here I thought I'd borrow this from the press office here. This is the Toyota CHR, and I've really been wanting to try this car because I just love the way it looks. It looks fantastic. It was launched about a year ago. It's a 2017 model. It is actually a compact crossover. It looks like an SUV, but it's more sort of a crossover. It's actually based on the same platform as the Toyota Prius and the new Toyota Corolla. And in fact, this does come as a hybrid as well. But this car here is a 1.2 litre 4-cylinder turbocharged, produces 115 brake horsepower and 136 pounds-foot of torque. And that's good enough to get it from 0 to 100 in 10.9 seconds, just under that 11-second mark. Top speed is 190 kilometers per hour, and it does a fuel economy figure of 6 liters per 100 is what they quote. Although I think it'll probably do better than that because I've been driving it around and getting great economy out of it. It's mated to a 6-speed manual gearbox in this particular case, and this one's a front-wheel drive, although they do also come as all-wheel drive cars. But the main reason I've been wanting to try this car is the looks, like I said. It just looks amazing. It's like a futuristic sci-fi space-podey thing. And it's almost like two cars in one, because if you look at the top half of it, if you take this very pinched and slim front end here, take the side profile and the way that the roof slopes down, it looks like a coupe. But if you take the bottom part, it's got a very butch, aggressive lower front here, and the aggressive wheel arches on the side, it makes it look very butch and almost angry. And at the back it's very interesting as well, because it's got this amazing integrated spoiler that goes into the hatch at the back. It's almost like something out of an 80s Cosworth or something like that. A spectacular looking thing. And of course then there's those door handles, the rear door handles, which I put a close-up of in there somewhere. They look like there's something out of like a Tron movie or a sci-fi movie from the 70s, sort of retro futuristic thing going on there. It's quite cool, quite funky. But the thing about cars that look this cool and this sleek, they're often not as practical as you might think, and this is meant to be a family car. So let's look at that first, and let's start as ever with the boot. So let's have a look at the boot. Can open it from here. I don't know if it's got the kick thing, it might do. So it's more of a hatchback type of boot rather than an SUV boot, but it is fairly spacious. Quite a low loading area in there, which means you've got a little bit of a ledge over here to get stuff over. There are some hooks back here, but there isn't very much else here. There's a little bit of a gap there. Where there might be a pocket, there's actually a big JBL speaker. We'll talk about the speakers in this car a bit later on because they're actually quite good. Another hook over there, and then you've got the seats, the 60/40 split folding seats. And if I can show you, let me just take that out quickly, and I'll just show you that the fact is that although you can fold them down, you get a little bit of a ledge there, so it's not quite completely flat. But having said that, that seat has gone completely down, so a fair bit of room in here, but sort of more hatchback rather than SUV. And talking to the rear space, how do I fit in that? Because you've seen the side profile, they've got a low roof. Yeah, let's have a look at that next. So, these are the door handles I was telling you about. Check these out. Aren't they incredible? That's amazing. You need to learn how to open them though. That's a funny thing. The seat was down, so let's put that back up again. There you go. And it's nice the way that the seat belt stays on the side so it doesn't interfere with that. So here we are. Let's get in here. And okay, it's a little bit tight for me. I have got long legs, let's be honest. I'm 6'2", and this front driver's seat is also set for my driving position. So that's kind of explains why this is a little bit tight for me. But I think that for regular size adults it might just about be okay, but I don't think this is the most spacious car when it comes to rear leg room. I think that much is a given. Having said that, the room for my feet is fine. I don't know if you can make them out, but they're not too bad down there. The main issue is this part of the seat over here. Headroom is actually not too bad. I would have thought with this low roof line that it might be encroaching on my headspace, but unless I'm wearing a really tall hat, or unless I've got one of those silly haircuts that go up, it's not really an issue. Comfortable reasonably, and the seats are quite nice, leather in this case, with this very nice triangular pattern on the leather here, and of course Isofix seats. Now this pattern here is also replicated on the doors over there and on here, if you can just make them out. Also in the doors, as you can see, we've got cup holders and a little pocket there. Plus again those speakers, but otherwise there isn't very much back here. I mean, there's no rear AC vents and there's no USB plugs, and you know what a bugbear of mine that is, not having USBs. But hey ho, apart from that, it's not a bad place to be. But I think the front is even better. Let's get in there. Normal door handle here at the front. But quite an interesting front interior here, as you can see, because we've got all this blue trim that goes along here, and I think you can actually get it in different colors. I've seen it in different specs as well. So let's start it up. It's a manual, like I said, so clutch in, brake down, press the starter button, and there you get the Toyota CHR. It tells you what car you're in case you've forgotten. But over here, you've got this very large 8-inch, I think it's an 8-inch touchscreen. It's floating here above the dashboard. You've still got the traditional Toyota digital clock, so some things never change. That's nice and reassuring. Once it's started up, you've got the stereo. You've also got a trip computer, which is there, tells you what your mileage is and all your economy and all that. Sat nav we've seen, and over here, hang on, hit confirm. And over here you got a stereo. Now the stereo system is fantastic on this as well, a JBL sound system, and it's got concert level tuning, so it sounds really awesome. It actually has, I don't know how to get into it, but it actually has a demo mode for the JBL stuff that actually has its own set of music, which actually sounds brilliant. I don't know how to do that right now, but anyway, it wouldn't. Oh, here we go, JBL demo. So you can press that and you can actually see, or you can actually listen to the quality that you get. Aside from that, you got climate control, dual zone on here, and of course this is what controls all that. You got heated seats on this particular car. Down here you've got a cup holder down there, which is quite spacious. A little bit of a gap there. There's manual, like I said, 6-speed manual here. It's got electronic handbrake, and down here you've got auto hold, so basically it holds it automatically on the hills and stuff like that. Over here you have another cup holder, which isn't quite as deep, or actually, if you pull that out, you get a deeper cup holder, so that's quite handy, isn't it? A bit of configurability there. And over here you have a cubby box. Now in the cubby box you do have a 12-volt power supply, so maybe from there you could feed some USB cables into the back, but you also have a USB and an aux right there at the front. Over on this side, it's a pretty normal instrument panel with a digital center bit, and you can see the doors and stuff on there. We've got remotes on the steering wheel. We have active cruise control on this car, and it also has self-parking, which is quite extraordinary, and it's got lane keeping assist. It's also got a reversing camera as well. This is the top spec car for this region in the 1.2 guys. Now over here there's a couple of interesting things, aside from the fact that the blue trim continues into the door and it's got this very nice textured panel over there. All electric controls there, deep door pockets down there. But this is interesting. I want to show you this, if you can make it out. IMT. Now IMT, I have no idea what that stands for, but I know what it does. And what it does, it basically, you know the synchro system that Nissan introduced in the Z cars? Basically it does that. So when I change down, I don't have to heel in tow, which would be a little bit difficult in this car because the accelerator is quite wide away from the brake pedal, but it actually does that for you, so it matches the revs as you change gears both up and down. So actually that's quite good. You don't have to have it on all the time, so if I press the IMT button, usually it comes on over there. So aside from that, there's a little bit of a pocket here as well I should have added. So aside from that, it's all very nice and very well equipped inside, and quite a funky place to be. Look at the more triangular shapes in the doors over there. Is it funky to drive though? Well, that's what we're going to find out next. Okay guys, so let's take it for a little drive. Not too much of a drive. I mean, the thing is that despite, joy of joys, a manual gearbox. We don't get to drive those too often in the Middle East, do we? But yeah, here we do. So it's got automatic brakes, so I just have to press the brake and then press that and it comes off. So as I was saying, despite the fact that this looks like a sporty SUV, sports crossover if you like, it's not necessarily a sporty car because, you know, like I said, it's a 1.2 engine, 115 brake horsepower. But having said that, I mean, it's reasonably peppy, it's good enough for around town stuff, and it handles remarkably well for what it is. It's not a car that you would throw around very often. It's simply not that sort of car, particularly if you've got the kids and stuff in it. But it's nice to know that it can do it. Generally, it's quite an easy drive. It's an easy car to maneuver, easy car to drive. Visibility at the front is not too bad. It's not a problem, especially because you have a quarter light here as well to compensate for the A-pillar. The A-pillars have speakers in them and an airbag, so they're slightly thick, but the main issue with the rear visibility, with the visibility, would be the rear visibility, because it's got that quite narrow opening on the rear tailgate and quite thick pillars at the back. But having said that, you work around it, you use the mirrors, which are pretty good, and of course for reversing you do get the reversing camera, so it's not really a problem. The steering is just the right amount of assistant and the right amount of weightiness. Forget about feel, again, like I said, this is not necessarily a sports car, so it's not something that we're worried about, but it does what it needs to do quite well. well. The gear change is actually really good. It's, you know, a little notchy, a little springy, but you know, you never miss a gear. It easily slots. It's a 6-speed gearbox, by the way. It slots in, you never get it wrong. It's very easy to use. The clutch is light. The biting point, well, it's fairly insignificant actually. It just pretty much bites wherever you want it to bite. So it's not really a problem. So the performance itself, like I said, it's enough. So we're pulling out onto this road now, and we'll just give it a few revs. So, bit of wheel spin there, traction control cutting in, so enough torque to do that, which is substantial. So it's enough, it's good enough for around town, and as long as you use the gears, it's actually really good. Probably in our market, if we did get it, we probably wouldn't get the 1.2, we might get the 1.8 hybrid, more likely we would get the 2-litre the American market gets. How much is the car, you're asking me? Actually, before that, let me just quickly touch on the ride, because the ride on this car is fantastic. Considering that it's set up quite sporty, you know, we're just going over some potholes there. Now you can feel the movement, you can sense the movement, but it's very damped, it's very well damped, and the ride itself is very, very smooth. And even with, you know, if you check it around, the body control is pretty solid, so it's actually no problem at all. Now, coming back to the price, in this market, this car is £26,000, or going up to about £28,000, which would translate to about 130,000 dirhams or $35,000. So sort of there or thereabouts. I mean, I would say if it came to our market, if it could just be around that or slightly less, 120 maybe, 115, then, you know, you would consider it. But having said that, you buy this car for its style and its looks, and I think I really have grown to like this car a lot in terms of its drive, its everyday usability. I've been using this as a family car for the last 5 days or so, and it hasn't been any problem at all. It's a very easy car to drive, very comfortable car to drive. Stereo is fantastic, the AC and heating controls are all good, as you'd expect from a Toyota. So otherwise, I would say a thumbs up for me. I quite like it, and I just like what they've done with the styling of this car. I think it's fantabulous, if that's a word. If it isn't, I've just made it up. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed the review. Please do check us out on motoringme.com, and of course all of our usual social media channels. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, then please do like, share, and subscribe. And you can also follow me. That'd be nice. You don't have to, but it'd be nice to see you there. Thanks so much for watching. Until the next one.
You want to see your money check?
I'm working here.
No, it's fine. It'll be quick. Come on.
Okay, just
yeah?
quickly.
Yeah. All the cards are different.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take one card out. Make sure I don't see it, but make sure the camera sees it.
Okay.
Any card.
Alright.
Show the camera. Okay. Put the card back in. Okay. If I snap my fingers, I can make the card jump to the top.
Yeah.
6 of hearts.
That's not the...
No, come on, it was. Yeah.
Not,
Why are you lying to me?
It's not the cards in it.
Jack spades.
No, it's not the card. Just get out. I'll go get
No, you know what? Just put the car in reverse.
Oh my god!
See ya.
How'd you do that?